Hey guys, Samia here, wedding and portrait photographer, and in this video I'm going to be talking about myths that were told to me in the beginning of building my photography business that are just not true. So this is just going to be more of a fun video, more of a rant. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe because I come out with videos every week just for photographers building their business. Okay, so the first thing that was attempted to be drilled into my brain was you need to have your niche figured out from the beginning and you have to be super clear on what you're marketing to and blah, blah, blah. And the reality is that is a expectation that is impossible for someone who is new in the photography industry. You have to dabble into as many things as possible in order to figure out what you're good at, what you're drawn to. And that goes beyond just what you're shooting. That's your editing style, that's your shooting style, that's your equipment. It just naturally takes time. And when I was told, find your niche, you put so much pressure on finding what it is that you want to specialize in that you end up not dabbling and exploring enough areas of photography or styles of photography that you get into this box and then you don't know how to get out of it. So I would explore as much as possible. It is not true that you need a niche from the beginning. What is true is that you need to start building a clientele from the beginning. So that means you need to start spreading the word about your business, collecting as many contacts, getting in front of as many people. That is something that is timeless and that will grow. But your niche can change every year. I mean, it can change all the time. Once you get more established and higher in price point, niche becomes more important. But to tell a new photographer, you need to be super specific about what you're doing from the beginning is just like really bad advice. So it's a myth, not true. Okay, so I was also told either you need to get paid for all the work that you do or you need to do work for free to build your portfolio. And there's truth in both and there's myth in both. So my kind of philosophy is I would have people approach me saying, hey, will you do this for free? It'll be great for your portfolio. And that is when you should not be doing free work. So I totally believe in doing work for free. I still in my business do work for free, but it's for shoots that I planned and I put together and I, made it happen. It's not a favor for somebody else. And I never say that it was free. It's just part of my portfolio. So there is truth to you should be doing work for free, but nobody outside your business should know that you're doing it for free. And that's because the sales strategy of appearing in demand will make you in demand. All of that is to say that you can do work for free, but it should be strategic and it's not doing anyone a favor. And it's not true that you should be paid for all your work. If you're trying to elevate your portfolio as fast as possible, the reality is that if you're new, you don't have weddings that look luxurious and beautiful and perfect to shoot. So you need to create that kind of portfolio to market to those clients to get those bookings. Okay, myth number 3 is you need blank piece of equipment. The reality is you don't need any equipment other than a camera until you have come to an area that has become problematic. So for example, I was told by a photographer I was second shooting with, oh, you need a softbox, oh, you need 4 different lights for like flashes for reception. And I now run my business very successfully and have never used those things. So I bought a softbox in the beginning that was very expensive for the place I was in my business because she told me to. And the reality is that is just not what I needed. The only way you create your own unique style and your unique place in this industry is by testing things and using equipment and things that will advance that specific area. So anytime people say, oh, you need to go mirrorless or oh, you need to do big changes, you don't need to do anything because it's your art, it's your product. And whatever it is you are trying to make better specifically, maybe you need something in that world. So for example, I needed a better flash because mine was like not firing as consistently and I use a lot of flash in my work. So that is true. But for someone to say I need a softbox with 4 different lights, my style isn't bright and airy and I don't want to make it look that bright. So why do I need that? You don't need something just because somebody farther than you tells you that you do. Okay, the 4th one, if you take away nothing from this video, take away this one. Okay, are you ready? Just because that someone in the photography industry is charging blank does not mean that they are a mentor or that they are someone who is put on a pedestal. And I say that because I don't want to like devalue the fact that they have, gone so far in the photography industry. It's a very hard market, it's a very hard industry. But what I mean is that when I was a beginner, I would put people who were charging $10,000, $12,000 in wedding photography on a pedestal. And I would take anything that they said as like holy grail for this industry. And the reality is the industry is changing so fast. So people that were charging $10,000 now probably took them 10 years to be able to do that. Instagram was not a thing when they started. So their advice in order to excel from face to face in the industry is outdated because they did that 10 years ago or 7 years ago, you know? My rule of thumb is be careful with who your mentors are, and those people should not be that many light years ahead of you in the industry. I found the most success, and I've talked about this on the YouTube channel before, in finding mentors that are just like 1 or 2 steps ahead, charging a little bit more than I'm charging, booking weddings in places I want to book. So that's where I get the best advice, because they've gone 1 step beyond, and they've just done that 1 step like recently beyond. So careful who your mentors are. Okay, my 5th one is a little bit controversial, but here we go. Here come the comments. So feel free to comment what you think about any of these. I'm here to open this discussion, but I have heard the philosophy that you need to be fully booked before you're able to go full time, or before you're able to dive full in. And just my personal opinion, this whole YouTube channel is my just random opinion. You can disagree. Anyone who ever had a plan B did not succeed in plan A. So in other words, I just believe that if you have to make it work, you will make it work. And if you don't absolutely have to pay your bills and meet this, you know, financial mark, it will not work. It's almost impossible. It's very, very hard for you to fully book a full calendar of weddings if you are not putting your full time into booking that full calendar of weddings. So waiting for that to happen is kind of like delaying everything and stretching everything out. So I just believe, like, if you want to do something and you want to be fully booked for photography, it's going to be very hard to do that if you are not fully in business and you're not dedicating 9 to 5 to booking a full calendar. So I think people get hesitant to go full time because they're waiting to fill up their calendar or book a certain number of weddings. And you'd be surprised if you freed up your calendar more, or you had to, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself, how much more you would book. Like I said, please leave a comment on what you thought that in these 5 myths were true. Did you guys interact with anything that was like similar to these myths? Did anyone tell you any other myths that I didn't mention here that you're like, someone told me this in the beginning and that was like turned out not to be true? Please leave a comment, let me know. If you haven't already, subscribe, because I come out with 2 new videos here every single week for photographers, specifically wedding photographers, and I will see you guys later here on YouTube.